Hi, I'm Josh Banta, and I'm going to be talking about cables and how they are used in the professional music workstation and how they're used at home also, and the different types of cables that there are. The first cable is a TS quarter-inch cable. This cable is a single conductor cable and is usually used as a short cable to plug a guitar or an instrument into an amp. As you can see, it has a tip, then it has like a shaft, and then it the wire has a shield covering it so that it blocks out some of the outside noise. But this cable is what's called a unbalanced cable, and it's not good to use as a long running cable because it can pick up outside noise, and so you should usually only be used as short, just cable to amplifier. The next cable is a TRS cable. This is pretty much a quarter-inch TS cable, but it has two rings, two conductor cables with a shield, and it can be used two different ways. Usually it's used as a headphone cable or a stereo cable, a headphone aka stereo cable. The other way is as a balanced configuration signal across it, but it is done in a way to keep outside noise from coming in. It's a little bit better than the quarter-inch cable to keep out outside noise, but it's still not as good as the next wire that I'm going to be talking about, which is the XLR cable. But this is how you plug in a quarter-inch cable. Pretty simple. There's usually just a hole that says instrument cable or quarter-inch cable, and you should usually make sure that your stereo is off before you unplug or plug in any cables. This is another way, just pretty basic. Just plug in. Make sure your stereo is off though when you do it. The next cable is a XLR cable. It has a female and a male side. This cable is what's known as a balanced cable, and it's a lot better for running long cable runs because it can keep out the outside noise better. It also has a locking thing, as you can see right there, to lock into the microphone, and it's usually what's used on the microphone, and the female side usually goes into the male side on the microphone, and it locks in, and that way it stays in place when they're being thrown around. And then sometimes the male side can be plugged into the sound system. Usually male side goes right into the sound system, and then there's also plugs for the quarter-inch cable, as you can see right below it. But that's the XLR. And then this is the cable that runs from the sound station thing to the computer, from your sound system to the computer, so that you can run all your things into your computer. These cables are called RCA cables. They're yellow, white, and red. They're designed for video, but they can also function like a quarter cable. TRS cables sometimes have to have different settings when they're plugged into sound systems, but they can work just as well. But they're usually designed for home use and not so good for professional use. The next cable is one that most people in the world will know, because this is a headphone cable. This is just a stereo cable, eighth-inch stereo cable, usually used for headphones and stereo connectors. You can get a really basic connector to plug into a quarter-inch, and then it could be used as anything. It's just a headphone. It's usually used as a headphone connector though, headphone listener, whatever. You know what I mean. And this is a acoustic thing. If you wanted to plug a acoustic guitar up to, that's an acoustic connector and wires, and that's usually just an acoustic connector that goes onto the acoustic guitar and then is run within a quarter-inch wire to the amplifier or straight to your sound system. And it's just a bunch of different types. It's a bunch of different wires hanging on a shelf, as you can see. Most of them are quarter-inch. Oh, the next thing is called a direct box. As you can see, it has an in and an out thing. The in is for if you wanted to plug a quarter-inch and then send it through the direct box, and then on the other side, as you can see on the bottom one, you can get an XLR out. So that's good if you want to run a short, quick quarter-inch cable, and then plug it into, and then want to run a long XLR cable. And these can also be parallel input, so that you can plug two in and get one XLR out. and they're just very useful tools. But so that's about it. And direct boxes are really useful, but make sure that you have your amps and your power off before you plug in and unplug any cables. Thank you, and that's it. I hope all that made sense. Thank you.